Oh, good morning and welcome to my word for the day. I'm Lee Watson. I'm a business advisor. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an adventurer, and I'm a guy who really likes good words and thoughts and things. And I had a great experience this week that I want to share with you. I hope you're making this a great day. I'm doing my very best to make this an awesome day. I'm a little sore because I'm not used to doing manual labor, and we're doing a lot of work on our house right now. I have to admit, I woke up a little sore today. Hmm. Well, let's get right into it. Now, normally I use the Virtues Project cards, and I'm going to do that today. They produce these cards that are all good words, and I appreciate them so much. They're all over the world. They do great work. They're teaching people to think about virtues. Okay, the word I chose, well, I guess I did choose a word for the title, um, and that title is reconciliation. There isn't a specific card for reconciliation, but there's several cards. I went through the deck and just picked a few words that fit, and I'll tell you why. So here's what my experience was this week. This was a memorable experience, and I think that it's going to have impact for a long time. So I used the example in the description about being in grade school and having a fight with somebody, and I mean it happens all the time, and sometimes you reconcile, sometimes you don't. And if you looked at the reasons for that fight that you had in fifth grade or whatever, if you looked at it 10, 20 years later, you might find it kind of comical that that's what changed your relationship forever. Well, mine was not so severe. This was an adult situation, and we had actually, I don't know, this was several years ago, and some things happened, some words were said, some circumstances were difficult, and the end result was a friendship that was put on hold indefinitely. And I experienced this other person actually reaching out to me recently because I think he realized that maybe friendship is bigger than challenges that we have that cause bad feelings and all of that. And I think that's true in probably almost every circumstance. The value of a relationship with people almost always outweighs whatever argument you may have had. I mean, obviously, there can be very severe circumstances, but that's not usually the case. Sometimes it's a difference of opinion. Sometimes it's a mistrust and misunderstanding and all those kind of things. But when this person took the initiative, took the step to say, "Hey, why don't we meet for lunch?" And you know, it was as simple as that, and which we did. And what came back to my brain was not the circumstances that caused us to split apart so much as it was the memories of the good times that we did have before our challenges. And I think that's common. I think that if you're in a situation where you have a former friend or a former associate, a business associate, even a relative that and that relationship was somehow damaged, I believe that there's hope. I think that with God, anything is possible. We may not like the way things go and how they go, but with effort, I think things are possible. And so I went through my deck of cards today and I picked several from the Virtues Project. And here's the cards that I picked. This was almost completely random except one that I picked out specifically. So let me just quickly go through these words, see if you don't find some hope in all of this. Okay, the first one is peacefulness. Now, peaceful, I have so much trouble with this. Peacefulness, let me just read part of it. Peacefulness is inner calm and tranquility. It's a sense of harmony with all creation. Inner peace comes from quiet reflection and prayer. Well, in my case, peacefulness is something that causes me to pause and think about what's really important. And often answers come when you calm yourself, when you become that mindful meditation kind of person who has an open mind and actually thinks. So when peacefulness is added to the equation, well, let me just read a quote. This quote is from St. Francis of Assisi. It goes like this: Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Peacefulness. It's a great relationship repairer. The next one that I picked is grace. There we go, grace. Grace is our connection to the divine and a sense that you are loved and provided for in all circumstances. It's opening ourselves to bounty. Good things happen when we show grace, when we receive grace. Grace is a great thing. We don't necessarily deserve it, but sometimes people show us grace, and it's a wonderful feeling. So there's a quote on the back of here from Peter Fedema, who says, "The will of God will never take us where the grace of God cannot sustain us." And sometimes that's very true. Next one, and this is a really important thing for reconciliation: forgiveness. Forgiveness is overlooking mistakes and letting go of resentments. Forgiveness frees us from the needless pain of reliving a hurt over and over. Forgiveness. Sometimes we need to forgive others. Sometimes we need to forgive ourselves. And sometimes other people forgive us. And what a wonderful feeling that is. Forgiveness. The next word I picked was compassion. Compassion is deep empathy for another who is suffering or living with misfortune. It's understanding and caring, a strong desire to ease their distress. Sometimes you can see the distress in others as a result of broken relationships. And with compassion, we can often heal that. So here's a quote from the Dalai Lama. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Compassion is a healer. Great word. The last word that I have for you today is one that I picked out specifically because I think it is so important for repairing relationships, for reconciliation in all situations, whether it's business or personal. And that word is Humility. Humility. Humility is being modest, humble, and unpretentious. We consider others' views and needs as important as our own. We willingly serve others and accept help when we need it. When we cause hurt, we have the humility to admit it and make amends. Humility is such an important part of this equation. And here is the quote from Helen Keller. I long to accomplish great and noble tasks, but it is my chief duty to accomplish humble tasks as though they were great and noble. And that humble task may be something as simple as repairing a relationship. Being humble enough to say, hey, this is more important than any hurt that either one of us has. And so, while it may be challenging and difficult and all sorts of things to be the person who reconciles, it's worth it. It's worth it. Now, I don't know how my situation will end, but I'm optimistic about it. I think that if anybody takes a step and makes an effort to reconcile with you, take that seriously. Take that seriously and try to make love and joy and peace and kindness and compassion and humility out of whatever had turned to a mess. Okay, I want to thank all of our sponsors. Thank you for sponsoring us, for even thinking good thoughts about us from time to time. That's a wonderful thing. I want to thank all the people who watch this show from time to time or regularly. Some of you watch very regularly. I appreciate that. And those are the people who send little thumbs up and the hearts and share it and make comments about it. And all those things are so important to me. I can't see them while I'm doing the show, but I listen to the show afterwards, maybe minutes, maybe hours, and it's really uplifting to hear comments from people who resonate with whatever it is that I had to say. And sometimes it's very simple, sometimes it's very heartfelt. And I appreciate every one of you for the comments that you leave. Well, that's my show today. And the idea of reconciliation is really powerful. It makes a difference in life. And I hope you can, if you have a situation that needs to be reconciled, again, whether this is in business or in life, either way, reconciliation can be that tool that makes a tremendous difference in your life and in your business. So if you want to know more about that, contact me at businessbeyondnumbers.com/contact. And what that does is it allows you to pick a 15-minute slot in my life and have a Zoom call or just a phone call, whatever you want. And if it's possible, we could meet in person even. Either way, it's an opportunity to have a talk with me and to pick my brain about the experiences that I've had. And I'll always be honest and upfront about this. I have made at least my fair share of mistakes in life and in business. And given the chance to repair some of those things that happened that weren't so good, that's refreshing and it's thought-provoking. It helps with optimism for the future. And I hope that you have optimism for the future and move in that direction. Okay, the word today was reconciliation. I hope it's helpful. And I'm going to leave you with the reminder that I always leave you with, which is do something nice for somebody else today. And if you have the resources to do something really nice for a whole bunch of people, do that. I know some of you do, and it's wonderful to watch. Yeah. Let's be that light. Let's be that source of love and peace and joy and hope and reconciliation, humility and caring, all those things that make a difference today and every day. Okay, that's all. Bye for now.